Okay. Uh, good good afternoon or good morning. My name is Kenechukwu Odega, but I'm gonna give a shortened form of Kene Odega. I am a master's student in UCD, and I'm just here to give an experience of mine, or like my experience throughout the master's program. And yeah, we'll start like with a background. I am originally from Nigeria, a country in West Africa, and I that's where I got my undergraduate degree in civil engineering, and I decided to work for about 2 years in the geotechnical engineering space. Excuse me, then I decided to have my master's in civil engineering at UCD. Actually, I first heard about UCD from another graduate of UCD, and he couldn't stop raving about how good UCD was. Uh, so my master's is actually in civil structural and environmental engineering, and it's 2 years master's. I'm currently on the second year, on the final lap, and the question would be why? Why did I decide to do a master's in this course? Why did I choose UCB? So I had like a number of aims. To shorten it, I just had to bring it down to two. I I saw that he had a professional work program, and I thought that that was very amazing. How I could internship and get to experience work in a different part of the world. It's like a different continent, and that's really like that really piqued my interest. That was the first thing. And secondly, I also wanted to touch base with the other parts of civil engineering, as I have focused on geotechnics for about 2 years. Okay. Um, During my time at UCD, I got involved in a number of modules, ranging from geotechnical modules to structural to transportation to water engineering modules. I think UCD gives a good mix of practical and that's practical in the real life sense, and also it gives the theoretical part well balanced, that you're able to tie it together. Um, I came in 2020 September, and it was basically at the start of the pandemic, and it was a bit of a question how I was going to navigate having to go to school online, and also like would it be worth it? So I came into UCD, and I I started the courses online, and I think UCD provided me that confidence that 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 was good enough for me to start the course online. So I paid, and we had our courses online. We had our groups online, and it was a different experience. Having left the academia for 2 years, I didn't truthfully know what to expect, but I I wasn't disappointed. I had my course modules. I had meetings with group members. UCD provided a good uh, provided a special Zoom platform for us, and that was different from the regular Zoom. It was like an unlimited version, and I got to use that in different aspects of the group work. Um, Moving on, the benefits I got from the masters. For me, I just summarized it into two. The work experience was superb in the sense that I had the opportunity to work at a world-class company. I had my internship at Arrow. Um, it's one of the leading consultancies in the world. And as soon as I came in, I had my internship in January, and it was for 8 months. I did a bit of it online during the pandemic, but as the restrictions started to wane, when we were moved physical, and I got to experience a number of real life experiences. Basically, I worked in the office, I worked on site, and also the quality of the lectures were really amazing. We had like teachers that were in base that had relations with the industry, and they really explained a lot of things and broke it down, and were able to relate on on a really basic level, but still very um, high um, high quality in sense. And they also renewed my love for geotechnics that I actually left 2 years ago. Um, I just decided to share a few of my experiences. I did, like I mentioned, I did my internship at Arab, and I, during the tail end of it, I was privileged to go to some site works, and in those site works, I had the opportunity to go to Galway, Limerick. Uh, I know this might sound weird for the natives of Ireland, but like I hadn't seen around it being a pandemic and everything. So I got to go to different parts of the country to perform some site works. Uh, we collected soil samples and water samples, and we did some work that was really beneficial. Also during my IT, I was involved in a in a voluntary work where we taught some children about numeracy, like numbers, and how they could use it and how we could make it fun. And it gave me a sense of giving back to the community, and it was like an awesome experience. And the picture down there is a picture of a number of us in the class. Um, After the pandemic, we for went out for like a day in Belfast. The school organized the bus, and it was a really fun moment. I got to actually meet the classmates properly and have fun. And yes, yeah, that's basically my experience in a nutshell. Thank you.
Great, thank you so much, Kenny Chuckley. That was really interesting, and some great images there that you showed us as well. So yeah, for attendees that have just joined us late as well, I just want to reiterate, if you do have any questions for our speakers today, just use the Q&A button, which is located in the control panel at the bottom of your screen, to type your questions in there for either myself or our speakers joining the conversation, and we'll get through as many as we can towards the end of the session. So Danny, our next speaker is a graduate of our Master's in Civil Engineering. He graduated in 2014 and is currently working for DBFL Engineering Consultancy. So Danny, if you want to talk a little bit about your alumni journey and your career experience and your experience studying a Master's in UCD.
Yeah, thank you very much. So a bit of my background anyway. So before doing my Master's in UCD, I did a Bachelor's Honours in UCC down in Cork. And it was during the height of the recession from 2018 to 2012. So I decided to kind of continue on with academia, and I saw the Master's in Civil Engineering, the 2-year course in UCD. And basically I graduated in 2014. And straight after that, I was a graduate in Jacobs Engineering for 2 years, and after finishing in Jacobs, I started with DBFL, as a transport engineer and planner for 3 years, and then I was eligible for my chartership back in 2018. And basically after being chartered, I was promoted to a chartered engineer for a year, and then after that a senior engineer for a year and a half, and now my current position as an associate in DBFL. But for a lot of that journey, I do credit a lot of my masters to that anyway. So when I was doing the masters anyway, I found it was such a great, innovative and inclusive course. Very forward thinking, not kind of stuck on theoretical and learning off theories. It was very practical. You got hands-on experience. You got to meet a lot of visiting lecturers from the industry and consultants as well. And you got to meet a lot, work with a lot of different other courses in the case studies and design. So you got that practical multidisciplinary experience, which you would use in your actual day-to-day career as an engineer. And I also did the placement as well, which gave me great practical experience in between my first and my second year of the masters, which gave a great benefit knowing what to expect in the industry. And UCD, the masters in UCD, while my mainstream was structural engineering, it kind of brought, that's where I discovered my passion in transport, particularly when I was doing my thesis with Aoife Ahern, who's the head of engineering at the moment now. And basically, I do credit a lot of that for my career at the moment anyway. And it's just even adding to the benefit of getting the masters in 2014, it really excelled my career, and it helped streamline the chartership process 5 years later. So I had less essays to do. It really did help kind of show my qualifications in the process as well. And it was a good basis for doing other other courses in the future. So I did a kind of a postgraduate in project management in Trinity, and this chartership and the masters was a great foundation for applying for that. And also, sorry, and also basically the masters had great teaching quality as well. So I would be kind of considered a transport modeling expert, but where I got that knowledge from was from the actual masters. You didn't get that from any other course in Ireland at the time. And that really did excel while transport is kind of a niche industry discipline in civil engineering. Something that valuable being taught in the masters really did help, particularly when I was a graduate. I was thrown into national and regional strategies and data analytics. So it kind of really that showed the value in the kind of the masters, what I learned from it, and from the lecturers. They were always kind of approachable. You can drop in into their offices anytime if you have any questions, and if you're kind of like have any kind of academic notions, we'll just say. But again, I would highly recommend I was very glad I did the masters anyway. Helped my chartership, and especially during that when it was a very hard time in the industry because it kind of built up my skills when things picked up again anyway. So that would be kind of my experience of the masters in UCD. So thanks for that.
Great, thank you so much, Danny. I think that's really interesting for attendees to hear. A great overview of your experience, and obviously the masters does seem to have helped you along your career journey, and you found it was an important step on your path to chartership as well. So just for those tuning in, yeah, please feel free to type your questions in as we come to you. We'll get through as many as we can, as I said. But I have a couple of questions I can pose, I suppose. Danny, just you obviously mentioned the chartership. So for civil engineering, chartership is an important aspect. In industry, and obviously you're working at, in the industry at the moment. How important is getting chartership for a civil engineer at this moment in time? And as you said, does the masters help you on that journey?
Yes, so chartership, anyway, for anyone that doesn't know, is kind of an accreditation for kind of high quality engineers that show great leadership and quality in their services, and also their great expertise anyway. So the process is that you have to have an application, a written application, and once that's approved, you have to go through a panel of your industry peers, and they judge if you are at that chartership level. And part of the process is there's different streams anyway. You might go for you might not have the masters, so you have to wait 10 years of industry experience. Say if you didn't have the bachelor's. Say if you had the bachelor's, you would kind of need to have a couple of, you would have kind of the same number of years of experience as masters, but you have to do extra essays in your application, we'll just say. So the masters really helps shorten the process and kind of more condenses it down. But then when you get your chartership, it's kind of a key qualification if you want to get to more senior roles, and also it shows value in when you're working with your clients anyway, because they all know the value of a chartered engineer, knowing that they can approach you at any time, knowing that you have the industry experience, you're a great communicator, leader in your industry, and your professional body proves of that as well.
Great, yeah, so it's worth noting that our 2-year program in civil structure and environmental engineering is accredited with Engineers Ireland, and therefore it does streamline the process to chartership, as Danny has explained, and the importance of that within the civil engineering space can't be underestimated, I suppose, as Danny was talking about. So thank you so much for that. And also, Danny, just to you also mentioned in your kind of talk there that you came out and graduated at a difficult time in Ireland, but at the moment in time, is there great job opportunities for people who are coming out with a master's in civil engineering? And what's the industry like?
Oh, at the moment, like they're crying out. There's an absolute skills shortage at the moment anyway. If anyone follows the Engineers Ireland news or kind of any of the presentations, it's just basically the economy has, from when I graduate anyway, has really built up and expanded, and with that construction as well. So, and basically when the economy builds, we need new infrastructure as well. So literally we have a load of different transport schemes at the moment to kind of bring us to a sustainable economy as well. But even at that, we have a housing crisis. So there's the private sector is crying out for engineers and designers to kind of help bring those developments through the planning process and to be constructed as well. So, but again, we don't have the number of engineers. So basically, the job opportunities are out there at the moment, and if we're here in Ireland, we even have to go abroad because we just don't have the numbers at the moment. So it's just it's anyone's market at the moment if you just come out.
Okay, so it's a really strong market. Our students are coming out as have options and have choices. And then for international students, there's opportunity for them to stay in Ireland if they like post-degree. And then for students, they can go abroad with their qualification. It translates quite well internationally as well, which is great. Kenny Chuckwa, I'll just go to yourself, if you don't mind. In your presentation, you kind of touched upon your work experience and the kind of placement internship that UCD offers as part of the degree. If you want to explain a little bit about the process, how you actually secured your placement, and did you find it beneficial to you?
Yes. So starting off, I got in September, and we started the internship in January. And coming in, we had to put in applications. There is a careers page that UCD offers, and UCD tries to streamline the companies, and they give you a number of companies you can apply for that they have relations with. So I applied for a number of companies. I had a number of interviews, I had two offers, and I selected Arup to work with for my internship. And during the course of the 8 months, I actually asked to work in a particular department. Some of the other consultancies might say, okay, you need to rotate around departments and some other things, but I insisted because of I knew what exactly I wanted. So I worked in a particular I worked in geotechnical space, or rather in geotechnical department for 8 months, and it was really good experience. Um, it, it's I'm currently actually doing a part-time work as a project engineer in Burnley, which is another consultancy, and that was getting that offer was based on my internship and the fact that I actually worked in um, I worked in Europe for my internship and the courses I had done. So that's work I'm currently doing now, which is a huge work for me. And also it's creating a pathway in which I could get employed after school. I wouldn't need to search for employment as much because I'm starting to get recruiters reach out to me and ask me what's the story, and some other questions. So yes, it's been very fundamental to where I am now and the journey.
Great. I think that'd be good for attendees to hear that you'll finish your degree with it, with obviously a great qualification, but also work experience. But even in the intermediate, it's helped you secure some part-time work as well that you can use also, which is great. Can I just to stick with yourself? Obviously, you're coming to us as an international student. You originally came from Nigeria. Do you have any advice for international students that are wanting to apply for masters? Did you find the transition to Ireland okay? And did you feel you were supported in that transition?
Firstly, coming to school for 2 years, if we're being honest, is not the most exciting thing to hear. But I can say that I'm at the tail end, and that 8 months was very beneficial for me. Coming from Nigeria is a huge change in the weather, in the whole culture and everything. But I have been supported every step of the way. I've not, even if we were in a pandemic, we got like supports in terms of there were times where we had virtual tea and coffee. If I think it might be hard for people to imagine how that would be moving forward, but yeah, we had things like that, and the university tried to touch base every single time, and moving from Nigeria was easy because Katie would I was in touch with Katie trying to get some of my questions sorted, and she, funny enough, she was the one that responded to every single one of my questions coming into the country. And yes, it was a very smooth process for me.
Great, thank you so much. As Kennechuka said, that myself and Katie are available if people want to reach out to us before they make the transition, but also as part of the application process. And my colleague Katie will pop up my email address and her email address in the chat as well. But if you need to reach out to us after the event today, you can do so. But also then, I think we had one or two more questions just open here from our attendees. There was something asking about the admission criteria. Obviously, we put it up as an Irish standard, so I think they're asking specifically around the minimum upper second class honours. What that means is that's the Irish admissions criteria that we've put forward. When you apply to us, they will look at your transcripts from your home country, and they will map that to how you performed and how that matches to our degrees here in UCD. So specifically for this kind of attendee that's asking the question, I'd advise them to reach out to us, and we can give you more advice based on your individual criteria and your own experience. So I just take our email address that my colleague Katie's put in the chat and reach out to us individually, and we can give you more information about the admissions process and how we map that to your particular experience. And then we also had a question around someone who's looking to apply for the Government of Ireland International Scholarship. Actually accepting your offer, I don't think has a weight or bearing on you getting the scholarship. Once you have an offer, you can apply for it. So I just advise you to make sure you have all your documents together and apply as soon as you can once you have the offer for the program, which you seem to have. So congratulations on that. And then also just to flag that if you're wanting to apply for our college scholarship, that closes today as well. So just make sure you have that in if you're applying for our College of Engineering and Architecture scholarship also. And that was all the open questions we had. Katie, I might go to you in case anyone sent any private messages in that we missed.
Yeah, I got a direct message about the dissertation or the minor thesis. If either of our guests want to answer, someone's just wondering how much flexibility do they have in selecting their own topic, or are they all pre-assigned?
Yeah, you can go ahead.
I'm currently doing my thesis on the behavior of ground anchors in Dublin soil. It's a geotechnically inclined topic, meaning that I basically selected it myself. So you would select the topics to be listed out. There will be a number of topics, and you can also offer a particular topic with a kind of a white paper on what the topic is about, and then you can be assigned a supervisor. But for the pre-written topics that will be given out, you would have a supervisor attached to that. And yes, it's a smooth process. You have a great autonomy on what you can do.
That's good to know. I don't know, Danny, if you've anything to add to that.
Yeah, no, my experience anyway for the final year thesis anyway was that you had a great selection of prescribed thesis titles anyway, with the different supervisors anyway. But like myself anyway, I just found that I was interested in transport anyway, so I proposed my own thesis title. And basically I found a kind of a good supervisor that would sponsor it anyway. So there is great flexibility within just your dissertation, your thesis title. And
it's just to add, it is some or most of the topics are linked to industry. So mine is kind of sponsored by Arab. So and it has no relation to my internship. The topic came on its own as sponsored. So I know there were some topics also sponsored by BDFL. So so those that you also have that link to the industry aspects in that sense.
Great. So you can propose your own topic, or you can choose from selected topics. You can partner with industry, or you can lean more towards the research. So there's something for everyone, I think, which is great. Katie, was there any other open questions we haven't answered privately were sent?
Yeah, just one more question. Someone very interested in Kenny's future career. I know you've spoken about the fact that you did your internship for 8 months with Arup, and you're also doing basically a part-time job with a different company, but they're curious as to what's next once this master's is complete. Have you thought that far ahead?
Well, I'll try to take it one day after another, one day after the other, but for a medium term, I would like to go into the geotechnical space completely. I know UCD offers some PhD options, but I would want to have some industry experience. I've been getting some calls from some recruiters, so I'm trying to make some selections on where I could work for a while before knowing what's next. That's kind of the medium to short term goal.
So we look forward to following your career journey into the future, which is great. And then Danny, I think we have time for one more question from yourself. Just if you have any advice for our attendees who are possibly thinking of doing a master's with us, and maybe highlighting some of the skill sets that you think would be valuable to them to pick up going into a career in civil engineering.
Yeah, the master's is very, very beneficial anyway. I said it for it goes well with the chartership. But one other thing is, if you're not sure what discipline you're interested in at the moment, the civil engineering undenominated one kind of helps you it's very broad. So you have free range to see what you kind of like, what you don't like. And basically, even if you don't know and you go into the industry anyway, you can have the flexibility still to say, all right, you might go into a structural role, you might find you're not into that anyway, but then you have the flexibility of going into maybe a civil role, and you might find that's your passion anyway in the end. And there's a lot of graduate development programs straight out of a master's, so they have the flexibility that you can move around to see which is your preferred discipline anyway. But the master's is, I say, the kind of the best one where you get the best idea anyway of what kind of direction you want to take in your civil engineering career.
Great. So there's plenty of opportunities and great flexibility to kind of shape it how you would like it as well. That's great. So I think that's all the time we have and all the open questions we have. So thank you to Danny and to Kenny Chukwu and to Katie for helping us with the webinar today and talking about their experiences and their journey so far. And just to reiterate, Katie popped up her email address and my email address in the chat there. Grab it and reach out to us if you have any questions, if you're making an application to us or want any clarification on our programs. And also Katie might pop up a link to our YouTube channel in the chat as well, just so you can get the recording of today's session, because I know 1 or 2 people joined us late, and also the recording of previous events we've done and testimonials and research videos. There's lots of information on our YouTube channel that you can have a look at in your own time. So I'll just give Katie a minute to pop that up. But that's all the time we have for today. So thank you to everyone for joining us again, for attendees for tuning in, and enjoy the rest of your day.